Fresh and Fit went and had a sit down all the way in Dubai with the closest people to Andrew Tate. And there was a few really important parts. This is one of the important parts. This is about the Vice documentary they did on Andrew Tate. Me personally, I don't trust any media. It could be anyone. This has nothing to do with Andrew Tate being guilty or not. It doesn't. This has to do with the media. It could be MSNBC, CNN, Fox, BBC, Vice. I just don't trust it because they always push one side. I sped it up a little so it goes by faster. Listen to this closely and remember the Vice documentary they did on Andrew Tate.
Can you give us what actually went down? Because you guys were actually both there for the Vice interview. You guys showed them fantastic hospitality. You hung out with them. You guys took them to the event, etc. Can you guys give us the background on that? I mean, because when I saw that documentary, I was literally shocked after I saw how Andrew welcomed to the home and treated them so well and what they tried to do.
I don't want to give it too much attention because the whole thing's just a bit embarrassing, but it's definitely worth raising. Well, my role was to get war room members to talk to these Vice lads because none of the war room members correctly trusted Vice.
Yeah,
but then Vice paint that way that Andrew and I are somehow trying to chaperone them and stop them from talking to people. If it wasn't for Andrew and me saying to guys, hey, you okay to talk to Vice? It wouldn't have happened. Very positive event, numerous days of building men up, teaching them to face their fears, do something that's life-changing, transformational in terms of an experience, and everyone's very positive about it, those who did fight, those who didn't. None of that was shown.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Literally, and even with this Mac guy, he was enjoying himself.
He had a transformational experience.
He had a good time.
You can see on camera as well.
But as soon as the cameras came on, at certain points he'd act all sheepish and all scared. I'm going to say something a lot of people might not like. I actually really like Matt. I got on with him really well. I thought he was a good dude. He had good intentions. I didn't think he was a bad person. I think all these death threats against him should stop. I think that's completely inappropriate.
That's ridiculous.
And Tate would not approve any of that. And no war room member would ever act like that. That needs to stop. But what you see at the end of it was the real agenda come out. And even though they found themselves enjoying it, even though they were sharing stories, enjoying my car, that they asked to see my car. I didn't say, hey, let's go and have an interview in my car.
They asked to go on your Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly. It's a car. I don't care. But when you saw the post-edit and when you saw the agenda coming out in the final interview, that's when I was like, Matt, this hurts, mate. We were good to you. We lifted you up. Everyone was on their feet cheering for him when he went into the ring. Tristan gave him a hug afterwards. There was some brotherhood there, and he would have felt it. And if he hears this, Matt knows that his life is lacking. He knows he lacks physicality. He knows he lacks respect from his fellow man. He knows he lacks brotherhood. And I bet you the state of his relationships with women is probably terrible too. Yeah. He knows these things. He was getting a taste of what it's like to act like a man with drive, with discipline, with brothers who care about him. But then the leftist narrative took over and he had to paint it in a negative way. He had a good time there. This whole concept that he was scared or intimidated, we were sitting around joking all day. I was with them the whole time. So on a personal note, again, no ill will to the guy, and I want all that harassment of him to stop for the record. Yeah. I still like him, and I still think he's a good guy. He's just consumed with this leftist woke religion, which is a religion at this point. But overall, I still have a lot of respect for him. I think he's a good dude. His mind has just been fried by the religion of wokeism. And you can see it. He's a deeply unhappy, unfulfilled person. That's my take on the Vice doco, mate.
Sorry, please.
I'm sorry.
No, you got it.
How much pull do you think he had over the last edit?
What I actually see, and again, I mean, we're all pretty intelligent people, right? Yeah. At that final speech where Andrew said, well done on the event, you guys have all done well, does anyone have any feedback? Matt had questions he'd already decided in his head. And what he said was, yes, it was a good event, but now you're going to step into my ring and I'm going to give you an interview. So this whole time that plan that, right, I'll say on camera that after we've done your battle domain, the ring, you're going to come into my domain and we're going to have a debate. Honestly, massive mistake on my behalf or on Tate's behalf. If we'd recorded that final Vice debate, Andrew chewed him up and spat him out. It was terrible to watch. Here we have our man Matt, a so-called reporter, ready to show his battleground and ask difficult questions. Every single question, Andrew just outclassed him on every level. And I promise you, Vice will never release that because it made them look so embarrassing. Yeah. It was so embarrassing for them and showed how. Okay, so you're a former law enforcement guy, right? Yeah. I'm a professionally trained investigator as well. If you want to ask professional questions, they should be open questions. They should be probing questions. Every question was loading and leaded. At one point, Matt even said, there's a lot of women who self-harm, and then tried to say that was Andrew's fault.
Wow.
At which point Andrew's like, hang on, this is disgusting. Of course I'm anti these sorts of things. But every single attempted loaded and leading question that Matt put forward, Andrew shut down. It was actually clinically beautiful to watch in terms of debate. But just to get back to the point, the whole thing was scripted from the start. I think what happened was the Vice guys, they lost it. And also, Jamie, the other producer, he's a G. He does his boxing. He was enjoying himself. One of the camera guys, one hour stormed out, actually said, you know what? Jules right. This is actually pretty unethical of us. So the guys got caught up in the brotherhood, in the experience, in the transformational, positive experience. But then when they went back, well, hang on, we have a script here. We have a pre-planned way we want this doco to go, which is, yes, you've had your fun in your battleground, and now you're coming into mine, Andrew. But of course, in their battleground, they could only show 20 seconds of it. Because it was
seconds of a 3-hour interview.
3 hours. It was a long time.
That tells you how amazing Andrew's response was. They could not find, in 3 hours, they couldn't find more than 20 seconds of gotcha material.
As soon as I saw Vice was going to do like a documentary video on Andrew Tate, I knew it was going to be a hit piece. This has nothing to do whether you like Andrew Tate or whether you think he's guilty or not. It's just, I just trip out on how people can trust the media 100% of the time. It could be any media, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, Vice, BBC, any of these medias. When I see a media company is only pushing one thing, me personally, I automatically in my head, I'm like, I can't trust these guys. You heard this guy. They did a 3-hour interview and they only picked 30 seconds of it because the rest, according to him, and I don't think I have any reason to not believe this part of it. According to him, they only picked 30 seconds of it because the rest of the 3 hours, Andrew Tate was owning that Matt guy. And I believe that because we all know, whether you like him or not, Andrew Tate can talk. Andrew Tate can talk. So I don't know, man. Me personally, I don't think it was that Vice, it was that Matt guy's decision to make that make it like that. I'm sure he has editors, he has bosses, but they made that documentary to look like Matt was scared. He was on his toes the whole time. Andrew Tate was a horrible guy. You saw the documentary. You saw the whole thing. Even the car part where they made it seem like this guy's like, oh, come check out my Ferrari. Look how cool I am. He even said it. They asked to do that interview in the Ferrari. Okay? Now, I don't know, man. You could believe this guy or not. You could believe anything or not. But me personally, like, my advice is like, and I'm a nobody. I'm not anybody to give you advice. But my advice is don't always believe everything the media says, okay? Also, don't always believe what Andrew Tate says. That's not what I'm saying. But always question everything. Whether it's media, Andrew Tate, these guys, yourself, your own brain, you always have to question it. Don't just say, yep, this is how it is, 100%. But let me know what you think of this in the comments, and it'll mean the world to me if you like and subscribe. Thank you so much.